Hello there everyone, and welcome to the Smite Beginner's Guide for Tsukuyomi. This god came out today. There's a lot of things that are probably going to change, but I will update this video if anything crazy happens. But we're here today to talk about the basics so that when you hop in the game, you'll have a slight understanding on what you should be doing. Starting with Tsukuyomi's passive, every single time an auto attack is landed, they are going to gain one of two buffs, and if these buffs are active, each subsequent auto attack is going to do additional effects. The left-handed auto is going to do a mana restoration and an AoE cleave, and then the right-handed buff does bonus damage and heals you for X amount of health. So Tsukuyomi's first ability, he throws forward this shuriken, and this shuriken does damage, it cuts through minions, and it stops and sticks to the first god hit. If you manage to cut the gap and get close to the enemy god that this shuriken is sticking out of, you will take the shuriken back, which will reduce the cooldown of this ability, but most importantly, Tsukuyomi gets his next basic attack empowered here, and that empowerment is going to allow this auto attack to be cast at range, and it's going to steal movement speed, and when you steal movement speed in this game, you are slowing the enemy and speeding yourself up. So this is a good way to cut that gap. The second ability sees Tsukuyomi swing three directions, first to the left, then the right, then straight forward. The left and the right swing disarm the opponents that are hit, and then the final hit, which is forward, stuns enemies for a second. This ability hits really hard, and the big drawback is you have to be very close to use it, but more on that in the playstyle section. Continuing forward, we have the third ability where you lay out this crescent moon shaped trap. And this slows enemies in the area, and as long as the enemies are moving through this area, they're going to continue to take damage. Now, on top of this, your next auto attack is also going to be empowered, again allowing it to be cast from a range, but this time that ability, or the next auto attack I should say, is going to deal additional true damage on top of the regular auto attack damage. So now we're going to go into the ultimate, and the ultimate has a lot of different things going on, so I'm going to try and break it down as best as I can. The first phase of this ability is the channel. So you are going to be crowd control immune and take 50% less damage while you're channeling, and during the channel you are going to shoot out 4 different beams of light that are going to tag and damage enemy gods. The order in which you tag enemy gods is actually important for the second phase of this ability, where you dash through every single god that you tag. Since each beam of light can tag 3 gods, you can technically dash magically around to 12 different targets throughout this entire animation. Each beam, which tags the enemies, and each dash deals damage. This ability does a ton of damage, it's a good way for you to close the gap, and it sets you up for a whole bunch of good stuff later. The most important part of this ability is to remember which god you tag last, because that's where you're going to end up at the end of this ability, and that's an important thing to keep in mind so that you don't die. Let's talk playstyle. Tsukuyomi is going to be a god that tags and pokes enemies down from a range, and then when they're at about 50% health or so, you are looking to close that gap and just finish the job. With the enhanced auto attacks, allowing you to cast them from range, you can actually get away with a lot of poke damage by just throwing abilities out and trying to land each ability and each auto attack to slowly whittle down the enemy's HP bar. But that's actually only how you're going to play later game team fights. In the early game, I actually recommend going full balls to the walls when you're ganking and just trying to use your insane scaling on your second ability to just kill whoever you're after. But that being said, I should cover how to level the abilities. Now, in my humble opinion, based off of what I just said, I think you should be maxing out the second ability first. This ability does a lot of damage, it has very good jungle clear, and most importantly, it can straight up kill a squishy, and if you get this to maxed around level 6, you're going to have a lot of kill pressure, and that's pretty nice. It disarms, it stuns, it does a lot of damage. I don't know what else you want an ability to do, but max this one first. I imagine when this ability gets nerfed, this might change, but for right now, definitely the second ability to max first. Now, your first 5 levels should be the second ability, then the first ability, then the second ability, then the third ability, then the ult. From there, max the 2, max the 1, put points into the ult where you can, and then max the 3 last. That's what I've been doing. I've found relative success. Granted, I am still at the point where I'm trying to figure out how not to die, but I have gotten pretty good at killing someone and trading 1 for 1. Now I want to touch on items. I personally think the best way to build a Tsukuyomi is to build for full ability power. Do not worry about auto attacks. I tried it. It's very awkward. Sure, you can swing your little scythy things around really fast, but it doesn't end up actually killing someone to the same degree that full ability power does. I also messed around with a bruiser style build that was fun, but it needs more testing for me to be confident in it. So I am going to formally recommend building full cooldown reduction and ability power. The one item I'm going to highlight here is Hydra's Lament, because when you cast the ability, your auto attack is going to be enhanced. And that is very important when you can poke someone with a ranged ability like the first ability, and then the next auto attack is empowered. And you know what that is? It's a ranged auto attack. So now you get all the benefits of the empowered auto attack and Hydra's Lament. It's a good time. Now, final note, just because I do think it will come up in the comments, yes, you can stack up 2 empowered auto attacks. If you cast the third ability, then the first ability, it will store both empowered auto attacks for you to use back to back. Now, that's all the time I have for this video. Thank you all for watching. I will see you all in the next video. But if you want to keep learning with me right now, I suggest you click that link, which has a video in it on your screen right now, and I'll see you there. Take care, guys. Thanks for watching.